Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel again. As you can see, I'm almost going out, but I wanted to do a video without missing it any longer because tomorrow I'm traveling. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to Greece, I'm seeing some friends, so I'm going to Santorini and then to Athens. So I'm really excited and I don't have much time left, so I was like, let me do this video. So basically the video of today is going to be either named like my terrible Tinder date, but also like advice from myself to others about first date, what normally it would be some type of tips that could guide you in a first date. Obviously this video is like more for older people. When you are younger, you are more immature, you're not thinking about these things, so this video is more like for when you are like 18 or more than 18. Anyway, so funny story. I was talking with my psychologist and stuff like that. I've been through some hard time and stuff like that, and I was like, you know what, I want to open myself to have dates again. A date doesn't mean a commitment. I can just like go for dates and meet new people with new values and see what they can give me in exchange. Anyway, so my psychologist was like, okay, go for it and then tell me how it goes. And I was like, okay, let's see. I think it's not going to go good, but let's see what is in the market. Anyway, so I downloaded the apps. I downloaded Tinder and Hinge. Hinge, it was supposed to be for more like serious stuff, and then Tinder, well, you can see whatever, like it can be like aleatory, like a bomb. Anyway, so I was like matching with people and stuff like that, talking with them. But what happened in both apps, like, is like you have extreme people, like they talk to you and then they disappear, and other people like they are like straight to the point. And for example, now like, I matched with one guy that sent me like a rose, and then he was like, hey, and I was like, hey, how are you? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. You, what you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling. And he's like, do you want me to come over? And I was like, I don't know you, like, ew, like, even if you are 60 and stuff like that, like, I don't know you. I wouldn't just like hook up with someone, like, I don't know, for me it's weird, like, I don't have any proper conversation or I haven't met before and stuff like that. Anyway, it was really funny. Anyway, but we are here to talk about my disaster Tinder date from the other day. So I was really nervous because it was a long time I haven't had a proper date with anybody. I have had like guys asking me out for dinner and stuff like that, but I wasn't in a good moment, and also I wanted to focus on myself, on my travels, on my projects. So I was like, you know what, no, I'm going to focus, especially after my breakup. I was like, you know what, I don't want to date anybody. I'm just like fed up of life. I was really heartbroken as well, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give myself some time. And it was good, it was really good. And thanks to that, I've been traveling a lot and meeting exciting people as well, and focusing on my projects. So that was the important part. Anyway, so but I was like, you know what, like, let's do this, let's go for a date. That doesn't mean anything, so let's just do it. Anyway, so I've been talking with this guy for a while, like it was like 5 days, 6 days, and he was really into me, like really interested in talking to me. How is your day going, like asking me so many questions, even when I like the messages that he sent me in WhatsApp, because you can do that and not answer more, because I was busy and I have other things in life. He was still texting me, and I was like, this guy is really into me, like, he doesn't stop texting me. And he was like, oh, let's meet up and stuff like that. Anyway, so he was going to go for dinner with his friends, and I was like, you know what, we can leave it for another day, like, I don't want you to rush for dinner for your friends to see me. And he's like, no, 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 I really want to see you today, please, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay. So I went to the cinema with a couple that I know, with my friends, and then I told them, like, can you wait for me, like, with me until he appears, because basically I know him through photos and he didn't have social media, so it could be like someone else. Anyway, so first mistake, first bad thing is like he didn't arrive on time, and I was like, oh my god, like, no way. So he was going to pick me up from the cinema and we were going to go for a walk. That didn't happen. He was like, oh, I'm still having dinner with my friends, can you come to all scene? And I was like, no way, like, it's a first date, we met, I have standards, so no, like, we met, or like we set a time, and a place, so I'm not going to, even if it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm not going to change my day because you are not on time. Anyway, so he started calling me. He's like, where are you? Are you North Street? I'm coming, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm having a drink with my friends. And weather is awful, so if you want, you can come. My friends will go. And then we can have the date here. Okay, so I told my friends, please, can you just act like strangers and then just sit like next to me, because I was so nervous. I was like, oh my god, I haven't had a date for like 7 months. So I was like, yeah, really like nervous. Anyway, so the guy appears. Second mistake, he wasn't like the photos. Like, he was like the photos, but like maybe those photos were from 1 year before. And I don't mind, like, if your beard like is longer and stuff like that, like, I don't really care, but be yourself, put updated photos. So I don't like that from men, like, they put some photos and then they are a little bit different. Anyway, so I didn't like him, but I was like, let's give him an opportunity. My friend knew from the start, like, she doesn't like him, but I was like, okay. So he sits down. First of all, he doesn't have any drink, and we went like in the cheapest place ever. It was a Wetherspoon, so it was like 150, and I Pepsi. Anyway, I had a drink because the boyfriend of my friend invited me to a drink. But anyway, like, he could also ask, like, oh, do you want another one? Nothing, like, and that for me is a no. Like, you're supposed to come to a first date and, impress, give the best look of yourself, and you are not even doing that. So, and for me it was really cheap even for him not to have anything while we were talking. And I was like, okay, this guy, I'm not going to meet him again. Even if he was like gorgeous and stuff like that, like the photos, I wouldn't, like, that goes over my limit, and that's it. Anyway, so yeah, so he arrived late. Then he didn't order anything for himself, and I was like, oh my god, this is tight too. And then what else did he do? Like, well, he was talking all the time about himself. He was barely asking questions, and I was like, oh god, he's telling me all his life. Like, it should be a duo conversation, not only talking about yourself. But I was like, maybe he's nervous or stuff like that. Okay. And then he was like, oh, I'm really into voluntary and stuff like that, and I love it. I used to do voluntary before. So I was like, oh, that's cool, what are you doing and stuff like that. And he's like, well, I'm beating up a guy. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm boxing, la la. And I was like, I hate boxing, I'm sorry. He's like, well, I don't expect you to come to my matches. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And then strike three. Well, this I didn't like, so I don't think I would date someone that boxes, like, beats people up. Like, I prefer karate, jiu-jitsu. Boxing for me is a little bit aggressive, but that's my opinion. I don't care if you are doing boxing, but without the person, with the actual, like, saco de boxeo, boxing bag. It's fine, but if not, I think it's a little bit aggressive. I used to date someone that did boxing. He teach me some moves, but yeah, that was it. And I was really young. Anyway, so this guy, he was talking about himself all the time, and then, oh my god, we started talking about traveling because I love traveling. And I was like, okay, where do you want me, like, where do you recommend me to go, blah blah. And he told me about Georgia. I haven't been in Georgia yet, so I was super interested. He was telling me about TBC, and I saw the photos, and it was really nice. While he was showing me the photos, he tried to grab my hand twice, and I was like, what are you doing exactly? So I was pulling my hand out, and bear in mind, like, my friends were like next table, and my friend was like, what the fuck? And I was like pulling the hand. I was like, don't touch me. Anyway, especially when I told him, like, I wanted to go slow, I didn't know what I was looking for and stuff like that. Anyway, so then I don't know which strike is at this point. He was like, I told him, like, oh, okay, I will write down Georgia and then I'll go at some point. And he's like, well, if we are 1 year together from now, I'll take you to Georgia. And I'm like, mate, I didn't tell him, but I was like, mate, it's our first date. How can you tell? In this world, I feel like completely unavailable men, that you put all the effort or the love, they tell you, yeah, and then they are completely unavailable. They don't want what you want. They are not clear in their things. They don't tell you anything. It's like talking to a wall. Or then people that are desperate, sexually talking, and then you could have a man like that. If I wanted, like, now I would be with a guy. Like, honestly, it's crazy. And then you have the other people, like, they meet you for the first time and they fell in love. they fall in love. You know what I mean? Crazy. And this guy, I think, was like that. Like, honestly, because I was talking about cheese with him, like we were talking about like cooking, because I really like cooking, and he, it was really funny because he liked everything that I didn't like if I fancy a guy and he likes different food, I don't care, but I didn't fancy him, and also uh, everything went wrong. Like, I think God was telling me like, this guy is not for you. Anyway, he liked whiskey, he liked Guinness, also Spanish food. That I asked him like, do you like Spanish food and stuff like that, and he's like, yeah, I love tinto de verano, salmorejo is the two things that I don't like. I like everything else. You put me like croquetas, tortilla, empanada, I don't know, tapas, everything, I like it. Those two things, I hate them. And I was like, okay, perfect. And yeah, so we were talking about cheese, and then he was like, oh, I love mozzarella, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, mozzarella is not one of my favorite cheese. I prefer like a mature cheese and then parmesan and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, in our next date we're eating parmesan together. And I was like, what is going on with this guy? Like, honestly, I was like living a movie. It was just like, he's crazy. He's like all over the place. Anyway, also, I like in a first day as well, like, you know, you wear perfume, you try to impress a girl, stuff like that. He didn't. He was like, just, he came to the date like he's chilling in his house, you know, especially the first date, you know. You want to give the first impression of yourself. Obviously, you're not going to know properly a person until the year passes by, because the 3 months, normally they are perfect, everybody tries their best, you know, it's like a movie, like a princess movie, but then you meet the people when the year passes, and then you see the real intentions, you know, the real character of the person. Anyway, so it was really funny. It was like, just like everything was going wrong. And then yeah, he told me like, I went to VIP, that is a really famous like Italian restaurant over here, but it was his first time. And I was like, how long have you been in Pride? It's like 1.5 years. And I was like, okay, that's weird that he hasn't gone before, because it's really famous. Anyway, so he was telling me like, yeah, my friend she wanted to share pasta and pizza with me. And I was like, oh, that's cool, nice. And then he's like, nope, I don't share my food with anybody, my pizza is only for me. And I'm like, oh god, not again. Because I used to have like, I am my ex from Barcelona, he was like that, like he didn't like to share food with anybody, and it's something that I cannot stand. I'm sorry, like maybe some people have other limits, but for me, like if you are sharing the bed with me and you are my partner, and then even if you don't like to share your food, you don't let me try what you're having, it's like, nah, like nah, nah, nah. Anyway, so I was like, it's just going terribly wrong, but it was so funny. So I texted my friend like, hey, can you just go to the place, because we were going to meet for dinner, just like the couple and me, at 9:30, because I have half price in it. So it was perfect. It was like 1 hour date. So even if I like the guy or not, for me a first date 1 hour is perfect to know the person a little bit and then see. Anyway, so they left and stuff like that, and he's like, I was like, hey, I need to go now to have dinner with my friend, blah, blah. She's like, he's like, yeah, 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 like I'm coming, yeah, we can walk together. Okay, we're going up North Street, okay, and then he wanted to go like this way. He had, his house is over here, and then I had to go over here to it. So he didn't even walk the street with me. Like, okay, my friends told me like, maybe Bea, he didn't want, like he was embarrassed like to meet, you know, or feel like, oh, like I tell him no, you cannot come, and then he walks you, you know, and then anyway. So my friends were like, it depends. But for me, it's really important. Like, I'm not asking you to walk me to my house, because I wouldn't want you to walk me to my house, even if I have a connection with you. It's a first date, you know, obviously not. But you know, you are like 15 seconds from a restaurant, and you are not able either to walk me to the restaurant. I don't know. For me, it's like basic. Anyway, so I had dinner with my friends, and they were like talking with me, like, did you fancy him? And I was like, well, no. And then he was texting me like, hey, thank you for tonight. Like, if I fancy that guy, it would be perfect, because it's the typical message that I really like from a guy. But yeah, I didn't like him. So he kept talking to me like, hey, how's the dinner? How are you? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like giving him really short answers. But I was like, you know what? If he continues tomorrow, I need to be honest with him, because I'm a person that I don't like to play with someone's feelings. And, you know, especially with guys, like they are really into, you know, me. I'm like, I didn't feel it, I'm not going to lose my time, and I'm not going to make you lose your time. Anyway, so the next morning he was texting me non-stop. I was at work and I was like, oh my god, I need to text him like that I don't want anything. So I sent this long message. I was really polite. I could have told him like things like the other way around, like, look, you were cheap, you arrived late, you were always talking and not asking me anything, you were red flag, red flag, you were telling me like, in 1 year time I will take you, we are together. You should keep, even if you fancy, this is one of my advice, guys, even if you, or girls, if you fancy someone in the first date, please don't just imagine the marriage and the wedding, you know what I mean? No, like, calm down, meet them, see how it goes, but don't scare them off. Anyway, so yeah, so I told him like, hey, I don't want, hope you're okay, I don't want to make you lose your time or my time, I didn't feel the connection, we didn't have things in common, and yeah, it's better to leave it like this, I'll take care, blah blah. He never answered. I think he took it personal because he was answering me like every second. It was crazy. But yeah, I think like I'm really proud of being who I am, if I want just something for a night with someone, I tell them. If I want a relationship, I tell them. I don't make anyone else lose their time. I don't play with anybody's feelings because I think it's not nice. The door just opened alone. I just freaked out. Oh god. Anyway, it was in video. Yeah, and I'm just freaked out, sorry. Yeah, and I don't think it's nice, to play with someone's feelings. I think it's sometimes it's hard, but it's better to be honest, than just to play with someone's feelings. Like in the past, I had no relationships, like dates with guys and everything going super nice. I would appreciate if they tell me, hey, I think you're a really nice girl, but we didn't match and I prefer to leave it like that. I don't think it's a waste of time. I think actually I end up winning, you know what I mean? I remember this guy, like we were having dates, everything was perfect and stuff like that. Everything was super cool. He was really into me, like, and then he disappeared, and I'm like, we had like 3 4 dates, so it wasn't a big drama. But I was like, and you just disappeared? I guess that's ghosting. I was like, okay. I didn't text him more because I'm not a person that chases people. Like either you like me or either you don't like me. But if you don't like me, it's fine. I go my way. Like I have other options. So yeah. So that was my disaster Tinder date. I've been talking with other people, but they disappear or they are super super into the point, like, do you want me to come over? But it's interesting, it's what I'm telling the psychologist, it's really interesting to see the values of other people, and they're weird nowadays. People, they have so many options that they are weird or they disappear, or you're just an option, you are not a choice. One day, I'm not in a rush because I'm really into traveling and into my projects, but one day I really want to find that person that fights for me and goes, that person doesn't have doubts about me, and really cares about my values, has the same values like me, we build something strong together, we are best friends, and every day that person shows me that they really care about me. And I know it happens because my friends are like that. I have seen other friends with couples and they are really happy, and that's what I want, someone that every day shows you, how much you mean for them. And obviously you have your own friends, and but you share life together, and it's something healthy, something like you are both in the same level, nobody's playing with anybody's feelings and nobody's finding excuses. And basically that's what I guess is to be happy in a relationship. If not, I don't want it. I'm really happy single as well. I'm having a lot of fun anyway. Like I don't know. I'll leave this for another video. But I have guys chasing me, and I'm like, ooh, okay. Yeah, I'm living my life, and I'm really focused on my projects and my travels. I have a lot of time with myself now, and I'm loving it. I'm loving my 25, almost 26 years old. So yeah, let's see more adventures. Anyway, I need to go. I hope you like my video. As always, thank you very much for watching me, and I'll do other videos soon. Okay, Mwah. Bye.